Hello everyone. So today we are going to cover container with most water. The input given is an integer array and we have to return area of a container which is consisting of most water. So the array will be represented in the form of graph starting from 0 to the maximum height given. Here the maximum height given is 8 and each bars are represented in graph of that height. Suppose 1 is till 1 and 6 and 2. So now we have to form a container between the bars that carries more water out of all the containers can be formed. So let's understand this problem with an example. So here is our given example. Let's see how many containers we can form out of this graph. So here if you see from this point you can form one container and another point can be this, or you can even form here a small container, and finally our bigger container is here. So we can form many containers out of the diagrams given, and we have to return the maximum area of the container found. So now how do we do it in brute force? So basically the area of a rectangle, these containers are represented in rectangular form. So the area of container is length into height. So now how do we calculate a length and height in this graph manually? So if you see, the points are from 0 to 8, and here if you name it, it will be the index of the given array. That is, the value is 1, 8 and goes till 7, and we have to have 0th index, first index, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now if you want to calculate the area of this bigger container, then the height is 7, the length is 8 minus 1. That is index of 7 minus index of 8. So this is actually 7. 7 into 7 is 49, and that's the area we have to return. So actually what is the height? Here the bar 1's height is 8 and the bar 2's height is 7, but the water will overflow if we fill more than 7, because only this wall is of height 8 but this wall is of height 7. So we have to take the minimum of both the bars, that is 7, and calculate the height of the container. So in brute force, it is going to have two pointers, I starting from this first index and j starting from the second index. It is going to calculate the height or container formed between I and j. So it calculate the area and save in the variable area so far. So once this is calculated, our pointer j moves to the second bar, and now it calculates from first bar to second bar and save it again in our area the maximum value. So again our pointer j moves to the third bar and find the area from first bar to third bar. The same way I moves till the last bar and calculate all the area and update every time the maximum value to our result. So once I iterated completely and finished the last index, now it's time to move our I. So now our I moves to the second bar and j will be in third bar, and j moves all the way to the rightmost bar and find all the area, and again I moves to the third bar and j starts from the fourth bar, and it goes on till we complete all our I and j at the last position, and final maximum value will be the area we have to return. So it is pretty straightforward and simple, and it is going to take big O of n square time because we're gonna iterate the array twice by 2 for loops. So how do we make it linear? So before getting into our linear solution, let's see how we're going to code it and then come back to our linear solution. So I'm gonna declare two variables, area and result. Going to have two for loops. So now I'm gonna calculate my area where my length is going to be j minus I, that is the index of my second bar minus first bar, and my height is going to be minimum of both the heights, because if we pour more water it won't stay with the capacity, goes with the capacity more than the minimum bar. So yes, now we have calculated our area. Every time we're gonna update our result. And finally we're gonna return our result. So yes. So yes, this runs in 673 milliseconds. So let's go for our linear solution. Our linear solution is going to have the same technique to calculate our area every time and update our result with maximum result so far. So just a little trick, adding a little trick will make our algorithm works faster. So what is that? We're going to have two pointers, left pointing at the starting index of the array and right pointing at the ending index of the array. So once we calculated the area, we are going to check height of both left and right pointers. If the height is less, then we're gonna move the pointer forward to reduce the container size. For example, in our given array, the first pointer is at left is of height 1 and the pointer is at right is having height 7. Though the height of right pointer is going to be 7, the height of left pointer is just 1. In this case, height of the container is going to be 1 and length is going to be 8. So far the area calculator is going to be 8. So now we are checking whether my height of left pointer is less or right pointer is less. The left pointer is 1, so we can consider the height of the container to 1 only. So what are we going to do? We just gonna iterate and move our left pointer alone and fix our height is equal to 8. So now the height of the container can be 7, because out of both 8 and 7, 7 is going to be minimum, and the length is going to be 7. So far the area calculated is 49. So now we are again checking, but we have arrived at a solution here, but still for algorithm's sake I'm still gonna work on it and finish it off. So now so far the area we got is 49, and we are going to check which height is higher, whether left pointer or right pointer. Obviously our left pointer is higher, so we are going to move our right pointer before one step. So now we have moved our right pointer here. We are going to check what is the height. Here the height is 3. So now we're going to calculate from left pointer. We can the minimum is 3 and we're going to consider our height is 3 and the length is going to be 6. So now it is going to be 18, and so far the higher value is 49. We are sticking to 49 still. So now we are again checking the height, whether 3 is higher or 8 is higher. Obviously we need higher value, so we just gonna move our pointer R over here. So now the height is gonna be 8 and 8. So now if you calculate, our height is gonna be 8 and length is gonna be 5. So it is gonna be 40, but still 49 is higher. So we are checking which of one is higher here. Both are equal. It moves either pointer. So consider we are again moving our pointer left and our height is going to be becoming 6. So now our height is 6 and length is going to be 4 and it is going to be 24. It is still lesser than 49. So again, as we move away and the length becomes less, it is going to reduce in its area. So now moving our height, we are checking which of them is less. So obviously L is less, so we are moving our L here. Now the height becomes 2. So for the lesser height is 2. 2 into 3 is gonna be 8. And further we are checking 2 or 4 is higher, lesser. 2 is lesser, so again we're gonna move left here and the height becomes now 5. So far the height is 5 out of 8 and 3. So now we're gonna calculate 5 into 2, so it is going to become 10. Finally we are checking which of this is lesser, and 5 is lesser, so we are going to move a height to the middle and it is going to become 4. So 4 into 1 is going to be 4 here, and finally our L meets R. In this case we have iterated all the height. So far the highest height is 49 and we're gonna return 49. So by using these two pointers we simply gonna reduce the time of calculating every area, and the final output will run in big O of n time. That is, n is the number of bars given in the array. So let's see how we're going to code it. So now we just gonna have the same variables area and result, finally going to return result. In between I am going to have two pointers. In left is gonna start at 0 and right is gonna point at height dot length minus 1. So I'm gonna have a while loop till left meets right. I'm gonna loop it and I'm gonna calculate my area as usual. It is gonna be right minus left into minimum of both the heights. So once it is calculated, I'm going to update my result. The maximum of so far area calculated. So once that is done, I'm going to check if my height of left is lesser than height of right. If it is less than height of right, then I'm gonna iterate left, else I'm gonna decrement right. Simple, it is done. So let's run the code. So it runs perfectly. Let's submit the code and see how long it takes. So yes, it just runs in 2 milliseconds. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit like and subscribe.